We live in an interesting world. We get so much access to data right now that we never had before, but we are not efficient in processing that data. A lot of organizations fail at that part. They gather data, but they don't do anything with that data. Or what's worse, they gather bad data. Is that some great ideas you don't have to invent necessarily from scratch, but you have to look at other industries and reapply some of the knowledge and some of the ideas towards your industry. The way I define technological partnership versus just being a vendor is how many dimensions your work actually goes across.
Welcome to The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle.
Before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell.
Welcome to The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle. We wanted to quickly jump in to introduce ourselves as your new hosts on the team of the show. I'm Jazmyn Arte.
And I'm Kevin Chang. You'll start to see us appearing more often, but don't worry, you'll still catch Jaimie and Dan here too.
Now that we're all acquainted, let's jump into today's episode.
Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode of The Business Game. I'm your co-host Jaimie, and I'm here with Jazz. Jazz is a bit of a new face around, but she'll be on and off as we go. Now, today we have the wonderful Ivan Gekht. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
He's like,
thank you.
Ivan, why don't you give us a brief rundown on who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Excited to be here. So my name is Ivan Gekht. I'm CEO at GetSoft USA. So at GetSoft, we specialize in turning high-stake situations that our customers face into high-yield, impactful custom software solutions that help them deal with these situations. And when I say high stakes, it can be anything, right? It can be someone's job is on the line. It can be someone's department is on the line. Sometimes it's the company reputation, or, the company is facing significant changes in the market landscape, or, it can be $250 million on the line.
Okay. So now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been building fintech systems for over 2 decades. Is that correct? What originally drew you into that space?
Great question. So we had some experience. So the founders of the business, my father and my brother, actually, I'm technically second generation, even though I've been working at the business almost from day one. They both coming from banking industry, had great experience, and we got a customer who wanted our help. So they started, it was 4 people, and then the company slowly grew and grew and grew. And fintech remained the core part of our business for quite a while now. Yeah.
Okay. So you work with, and I hope I'm saying this right, TRIZ?
TRIZ is a part of what we use. Me personally, I'm a rocket scientist by education. And TRIZ is a part of the course that was taught to us as a rocket scientist, as an engineers. But actually, it was quite a popular topic in Russia, and still is, actually. And it's been taught to engineers quite often. In US, I think MIT had a course on TRIZ. They call it Theory of Inventive Problem Solving, TIPS, and a couple more universities.
Okay.
So yeah, we carried it over into the business, into software development as well.
Okay. So how has TRIZ then influenced your leadership style? Because I'm assuming that it's quite sort of pointed in how it wants or how it suggests or encourages you to be.
Wow, that's a great question. I don't think
Sorry,
I have.
I'm just
I
throwing
have ever
spanners into the
answered.
work left, right, and centre here.
TRIZ helps you to build a certain worldview, I would say. And it helps you to develop certain mindset that greatly aligns with the concepts like design thinking, systems thinking, even the modern agile methodologies. They align really, really well. On the other hand, TRIZ sets certain expectations of you. You really want to be, if not a polymath, but really wide knowledge to be effective in using TRIZ. So these two things really elevates a lot of elements that I personally use as a leader in the organization.
Okay. And then, so from there, you've taken this knowledge that you've learnt through being a rocket scientist, your father and your brother in the banking world, and then you've come into this fintech space, I guess. So what would you say are some of the most overlooked sort of architectural flaws in that fintech space?
You know what? I wouldn't go even as deep as architectural flaws, because architectures of the systems are most often flawed, not because somebody designed a bad architecture. It's because somebody designed a bad concept or bad system overall. What we really see in the market space is people overly eager pursue great ideas rather than working with actual data and pursue what their customers really want. And surprisingly, it's not what people think their customers want and what customers actually want. It's not the same thing very, very often.
Yeah, it's
And
interesting that, isn't it? And it sort of just comes back to, I think, to like the core of us being human. We think other people want certain things, but they don't.
What would you say has changed, given that you've been in it for 2 decades? What have the pain points sort of been 2 decades ago versus now?
2 decades ago, especially we started in Forex and foreign exchange, so currency trading. In 1999, 2000, 2001, it was, I would say, the very beginning of an arms race in the space. So we had big, huge companies trying to really take over and define that market. So we had a lot of interesting projects, but everything was from the scratch, right? So no one had trading platforms for sale until people like MetaQuest, for example, started selling their solutions. Nobody had all of these brokerage systems for sale until these big guys started selling them as a white label, etc. So it really was a redefining period of time. So a lot of inventions, a lot of looking around, and that's why TRIZ is very helpful, is that some great ideas you don't have to invent necessarily from a scratch, but you have to look at other industries and reapply some of the knowledge and some of the ideas towards your industry. Right now, the competition is like, it's a bloodbath, right? So a lot of companies out there, huge competition, constant disruption in the market, and yet so many offerings. So you right now can go out, buy this product and this product and this product and this product, integrate them, build some kind of super app, and start really impacting the market much faster. We're talking 8 months. We are talking 7 months from startup to actual start of the trading for a brand new company offering multiple, trading equities, forex, etc. So it's a different market right now. Yeah.
You've spoken previously a lot about centralized data management. So with that, why is it so critical in your own personal view?
we live in an interesting world. We get so much access to data right now that we never had before.
Yeah.
But we are not efficient in processing the data. A lot of organizations fail at that part. They gather data, but they don't do anything with that data. Or what's worse, they gather bad data and they try to do something with it, and it leads them in the wrong way. So right now, having an ability to centralize the data flows into a singular space, which is well designed, and then process that data will give you insights that you wouldn't have otherwise.
For those,
Especially, yeah,
sorry, for those listening, can you explain what bad data might be?
bad data, it's it's irrelevant data first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can gather data that doesn't actually affect anything within your business. So right now, let's say you have an application and you can track the entire flow of a human behavior throughout your application.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they look? Where do they click? How much time do they spend at every space? What's the mouse movement patterns?
Yep.
Right? And people can get over eager trying to get all the data they can reach,
Mm-hmm.
that they start losing the sight of what's important. So when I say bad data, I primarily mean this.
Yeah. So getting lost in the weeds of it all.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you able to share a moment with us when a TRIZ insight helped solve a seemingly, I guess, interactable technical challenge? How did your process work over that?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Oh, yay, story time.
yeah. One of the examples of TRIZ application that I absolutely love. In TRIZ, there is a concept which sounds weird, but the ideal system is the system that does not exist, but whatever role it should play still gets done. So when you strive to make an ideal system, yeah, you want everything done and not to have a system, because system will take resources, etc., etc. So we were developing a solution to vendor historical market data, and it was a little while ago, maybe 12, 13 years. So the internet connections were not so good as they used to. Obviously, the computing power was not so good as it is now.
Yeah.
So we really needed to optimize. And one of the issues was processing data on the database side. Like, how do we optimize database in order to store the data and then vendor it very, very efficiently? So the TRIZ and the ideal system concept actually came into play there. We started working with the contradiction of like having a heavyweight database like Oracle, something, and versus the requirements that contradicted, like the core concepts of the database. And we came to an ideal solution. We got rid of the database completely. So we developed a way to store everything literally as files on the hard drive. And we leveraged a lot of insearchability in the way the access, how fast the access is, etc. We had to develop some other things to imagine some of the stuff that database would provide. But still, it was way more efficient than anything else on the market at the time.
Okay. What did you learn personally through that process?
You know, I think with TRIZ, what you really learn every time you encounter a situation is that nothing's really impossible. Right? You can achieve whatever you need. You just need to sometimes look beyond the scopes of not just your industry, but maybe the entire field, right?
Yeah.
You have a mechanical problem and you solve it with chemistry, or you have a physical problem, you solve it with, mathematics or something like that. So you really got to be very open-minded and look around when you're dealing with the complex problems.
Okay.
So you would have so many of those really interesting learnings along the way. I suppose that might lend itself to why you started the Agile Bulletin. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Agile Bulletin is a passion project of me and my brothers. So it's both, it's learning, but also with Agile community, we started to get more involved with it a few years back, and the more we got involved, the we more m- more we saw how it was becoming a social movement,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, right? So people were so focused on promoting their brands and their and being popular and trying to get likes and comments and become public speakers and everything, that the core messages of agile and why it was invented, technically it wasn't, but why everybody wanted to use it in software development, it really got lost. And now, 5, 6, 7 years later, you can see we still have a lot of articles and like big banks talking about failed agile transformations and everything. This is kind of the consequences of what we've been seeing. So how do you deal with the situation when all the platforms everyone promotes likes, right? So you come up with your own platform. So we decided that we're going to create a platform for people to voice the unpopular opinions, to people who wants to say things that needs to be said, even if others don't really want to hear them. And we decided to create Agile Bulletin, and it's been a tremendous experience, and it's been growing rapidly. I think we went from 30 pages and 5 authors to almost 100 pages we are publishing this year, and 20 people contributing.
Yeah, that's incredible. What do you think is coming out of that as amongst your community? What is the most misunderstood aspect of the Agile community?
I think a couple of concepts that I really see very, very often getting misused and misunderstood. The first one is a concept of mistake. Like, people make mistakes.
Mm,
Nobody is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, etc., etc. And we got to learn from the mistakes. It's about the culture of learning. And yes, but you should never forget that business is about making money. Business is about delivering the results. So you can learn as much as you want, but don't be kind of surprised if you don't produce, you're not gonna stay somewhere, right? Just because you learn and it doesn't bring anyone value, at least right away. Maybe in the long term, but not always people can wait. But what's more important is a definition. What is a mistake?
and how is that? Well, what is a mistake? What are the schools of thought within
That
the community?
Yeah. So right now, a lot of people focusing on like, well, it's a mistake whenever anything goes wrong. And from my personal perspective, it's incorrect. The mistake is when you did everything you could to get the results, and yet it still didn't happen because we work in the complex environments, because we live in a complex world. You cannot predict absolutely everything, right? But uh, in a lot of cases, especially when we do consulting or when we do teaching and people bring us some cases, we see crazy things like people didn't do any kind of risk management. They didn't do any kind of risk assessments. They didn't really comply to the definition of done. And then something failed on production, and they were, well, it's a mistake. Let's let's just review and move on. It's not a mistake, it's malpractice.
Sure,
So there is a difference.
absolutely. So, do you think it's an issue of not balancing the micro and macro perspectives in operation?
Yeah, to a certain point, you're absolutely correct. People tend to get into the tunnel vision mindset when they focused on their work so much that they don't necessarily see where they're going anymore. So the leadership has to be a little bit away from the routine, a little bit away from the trenches to be able to see uh, what's out there. But at the same time, again, it has to do a lot with the way that society changed in the past 20 years, 25 years. Some of the changes in the mentality, like everyone gets the trophy and all of that, it does have long-term consequences of people not really ready to be accepting their own faults and mistakes, and not really ready to put enough work into to get something done.
Ivan, I've just been, as you've been talking about the Agile Bulletin, I am currently going through it. And this is something I wasn't intending on bringing up with you, but I've just come across your 5 challenges of remote team management. And I feel like this is it's still a very top of mind thing for a lot of companies, because it's still in the transition of, do they come back in office? Do they just work from home? Do they do a hybrid? And I was just looking over some of your different points here. So without me going through and reading these top 5 points, do you want to run us through them and why you think, and what you've witnessed through your experience of it?
Okay, you really putting me on the spot, because
wait till we get to the rapid fire question stage.
It's been quite a while since I wrote that piece. A lot of perspectives might have changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can give me a gist what was in there, I can give you an update.
All right, so I'll let you know what you've written.
Sure.
Number 1 is low performance.
Yes.
So number 2 was detachment and loneliness, still very valid.
Yes.
Number 3 was loss of osmosis learning.
Yes.
4, less of corporate culture, absolutely. And
so not always a bad thing.
Not always a bad thing. And number 5, long feedback loops.
Yes. All right. Perfect.
Do you
Thank you very much.
Take those 5? Do you think now that we're a bit further down the track with all this as being the top 5, or do you think they've altered a little bit?
So, you know, what's interesting is that people actually, especially in the smaller organizations, for some reason, they actually learning to deal with the first point, the low performance.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole concept of going remote, what it facilitated is change in the management styles and management approaches. Before, we had a lot of what is called over-the-shoulder management, right?
Yeah.
When you walk around and you see what people doing and you correct on the spot, and
absolutely.
So, and yet you constantly give feedback to the point number 5, like, hey, you know what, you want to change this and this. We learn to be way more intentional with all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we set better targets, we set better goals, we set better KPIs or whatever performance tools you use to track the performance. A lot of companies are now introducing weekly check-in calls, one-on-ones.
Yeah.
That no one had before. It was like a yearly performance review.
Yeah.
Now the people doing it weekly, and it's okay. It's a 10-minute call. Hey, you know what? I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. What's bothering you?
Yeah.
Great. Lack of osmosis learning is still a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, you don't have this talks at the cooler anymore.
Exactly.
Right? You don't have somebody overhearing something and learning just because they heard somebody talking about something out at the break or at the meeting.
We were talking to a guest yesterday, actually, and we stumbled across exactly the same subject. And I'm always curious to hear what other leaders' interpretation is of how it is going and where it's going. And I think one of the main things is a lot of that time, you don't get that unscheduled mentorship that you would get making a coffee, walking down the hallway. That's gone. And a lot comes out of that. And then even yesterday, myself and my sort of CFO and CEO and whatnot, we were sitting in an unscheduled meeting and we just brainstormed for an hour and a half.
Yeah, Jaimie, you're absolutely correct. And it's still an issue. But again, the only way to deal with it is being intentional. You got to turn these unintentional moments that used to happen on their own and turn them very, very intentional. Spend time, have these chit chats. Again, in Slack, it's still possible to just type, "Hey, do you have 5 minutes?" And somebody will say like, "Yeah, sure, let's go in the huddle."
Yep.
Then you can still talk.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes, it requires that extra step of asking if somebody have 5 minutes. Yes, sometimes it's about management of time so that everyone is together at the same moment, is available, right? But it's all possible. Just again, be intentional about it. Same with the culture, actually. With that transition, we did see a lot of shifts in the culture. And I think that remote work, to a point, it helps and it hurts companies. In some cases, it actually amplifies what's good about the culture, but in some cases, it amplifies what's bad about the culture. So if you from the beginning had trust in culture that your employees will do the job, you had a lot of systems in place to enable them and yet hold them accountable for not doing their jobs, right? So remote work amplifies all of that because they get more freedom, more flexibility, and still you have all of the systems in place. But on the other side, if you didn't, and it was a lot, again, over the shoulder management and things like that, it might really damage your culture. So we're still having these issues going around in businesses.
So I'm going to put you on the spot because I haven't done that 3 times already since we've been talking.
Absolutely. Love this.
What, in your point of view, what's best case scenario? Work in office, work from home, or a hybrid?
And is it dependent at all on industry?
In my personal opinion here, right? You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I think the best path forward is to give as much flexibility within the businesses as possible. So my organization is fully remote. Yet we do keep a couple of office buildings and we do allow people to work from office if they want to.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily force anyone to go back into the office. In some businesses, especially if we talk about manufacturing or something, people have to go to the plant or
the factory or whatever it may be.
Factory or something. So you can't really avoid doing this, but everyone else working from home will make life of people who actually have to go to work much easier because we're going to have less traffic, we're going to have less congestions everywhere, transportation will be better. So I think from that perspective, again, working from home has lots of benefits. And yet I've been working from home for the past 8-9 years, I think. And I still miss going to the office.
Yeah.
I actually do enjoy going.
Yeah, same. We both do like a hybrid. We'll come in sort of a few days a week and we'll work from home a couple of days a week. And for me, I feel like that's a really good balance because we still get those, like yesterday, we still got to have that unscheduled hour and a half chit chat and brainstorm and stuff like that. And we'll talk as we're, wandering around the office, and which we wouldn't do if we were both in our homes. But I also find I'm at my most productive when I'm at home.
Yeah, I think it's about that balance.
Yeah.
And also, I guess it's showing your team like that level of respect that you trust them to manage their own time and output. I'm just wondering, though, with fintech as such a technical industry, is there any sort of like variation from just that broad freedom that you have to map in particular?
You do have to be very mindful about security, access control, stuff like that, because we work with sometimes we have access to protect the data and stuff like that. So you do have to be mindful. You do have to be careful. You do have to manage resources that your employees use way more precisely. So more policies come into play. But other than that, you still can do it. And we've been doing that successfully for many, many years now.
Hey, business game players, are you ready to level up your business? We are thrilled to announce our partnership with HubSpot, the ultimate all-in-one CRM platform. HubSpot helps you streamline marketing, sales, and customer service with powerful tools to grow your business faster. From lead generation to automation, it's got you covered. Visit HubSpot through our link below in the captions or visit our website, thebusinessgamepodcast.com, to start for free and supercharge your success. Now, back to the game. So, Ivan, Gehtsoft emphasizes long-term technology partnerships. How do you identify partners who are aligned with that approach and philosophy, I guess?
These partnerships usually created not on the spot. They created over the years of collaboration. So you really do want somebody whose attitude, whose culture aligns with yours very, very well. Whose thought process aligns with you very, very well. You don't want people who approach things like, well, you know what, we just want to do this, and whatever comes, we don't care, right? You want to work with people who are passionate, who wants to get somewhere, who wants to achieve certain results, who have a vision. And then when you step in as a technological partner, you really taking on more than just developing something that they've asked, right? So the way I define technological partnership versus just being a vendor is how many dimensions your work actually goes across. So if your work goes across organizational and administrative and technological, right, then you're truly a partner. If you're just responsible for one singular piece of technology or something, you're a vendor.
How do you at Gehtsoft, and I guess yourself specifically, how do you go about keeping that relationship with that partner? If they want to pivot in a certain direction, how do you then, as the fintech, how do you nurse that relationship with them?
So it's interesting that you use the term nurse because sometimes we get the feedback that we are like dog on bone when it comes to asking questions.
Okay.
So very rarely, and sometimes people are laughing when they're giving us this feedback and say like, can you just go and do the thing? Like, stop asking questions. We don't.
Yeah.
Right? It's not in our nature. We do really dig deep because whenever you say like I want to pivot, you don't. People hate change.
Yeah.
So you personally don't want to pivot. There is something else going on. What is it? Right? So why do you want to pivot? Why do you want to change these things? Why do you want to get there? So once we go through like root cause analysis or whatever you say, like digging really deep, it helps us to determine why the change is happening or why we are doing what we are doing. And once we have that understanding, we can go beyond the specs that were given to us. We can go beyond even the expectations, and we can start working together with our, for example, customer for whom we are a technological partner on achieving their goal, not implementing a particular project.
Okay. So on that then, how do you balance short-term delivery pressures with long-term platform visions?
uh,
Because the two are
yeah,
same, but different, aren't they?
yeah, absolutely different. That's where we again kind of reverting back a little bit to the TRIZ or theory of inventive problem solving, because it's based on resolving contradictions, right? So contradiction is when improving one part of the system makes another part of the system worse, right? So it's the whole framework about how do we innovate when we constantly encounter contradictions. But on the other side, it's a lot of concepts that come into play. Number one, it's just as simple as definition of done. It's an agile concept, but basically it's a description. What does it mean that the work is actually done? Because if you have implemented a feature and then put it in production, it can only serve one user, and you have 100. It's not done. It's useless. So that's why you put things that you really need to think about upfront into the definition of done, and whatever you do, you comply to this definition of done. But in some cases, you don't want to go into gold plating, right? Or you don't want to overdo things. If you have 100 customers, you don't want to design and develop a system that supports 100,000 customers, because you're going to overspend significantly. So that's where the technical debt management comes into play, right? So whenever you do something sacrificing the future to fit into the parameters of contradictions today, you take on technical debt. Like any other debt, it requires proper management, right? Because you have the accrual interest on that debt. You're going to pay it at one point or another. And you want to do it on your terms. Then when everything goes to hell and you have to deal with, I don't know, the crash system, the regulator standing in front of your doors looking at you, and the 10,000 customers pissed at Reddit and typing all sorts of things about you. So the careful debt management, technical debt management is another part of that whole process.
Okay. What role does UX play in highly technical back-end heavy platforms? Oh, you got to take a drink for this one.
It's absolutely great question. It's funny how much does it matter?
Yeah.
Because you can be talking about a system where the backend is, I don't know, 10 million lines of code. There's 50 engineers put 2 years of work into that. And if one designer failed designing a good user interface and people are unhappy, they don't care about what's in the backend anymore. Like the backend is the control room, right? Of your system. Absolutely, it has to be great. But the UX and UI is the front, right? It's where people, it's a storefront, right? So people buy there. And if it's ugly and if it's very, very inconvenient, nobody's going in. So right now, a lot of systems are built around the concept of being extremely convenient for the users and hiding all the complexity behind basically a black box, right? So users don't have to worry about what's going on in the back. They need to get an absolutely amazing experience at the storefront of your application.
Okay. So I guess for the casual listener who's maybe not up to speed on all things fintech, I'm really interested to ask what exciting things are happening in the space right now? What's coming up in the future?
It's interesting. So fintech as a space, it's a huge space, right? So in every little corner of it, something interesting is happening. But if we look at the bigger picture, the first, if and foremost, what we see is fintech platforms converging with lifestyle platforms. Basically, people don't want anymore to have that separate platform to do investment, and then separate platform to do their money management, and then separate platform to handle their debt, and separate platform to handle their insurance and stuff like that. So they really want somebody to give them that unique experience and easy flow throughout every asset that they want to manage. And ideally, it has to be all the way from investment and selling to spend it, all from one place, right? So this is the thing number one. Number two, AI.
Mm-hmm.
AI is
I was
coming,
waiting
right?
for it to come up. I'm surprised we got this
I
far.
know. I've also been like, ooh, we're going to do a whole interview without AI. Let's go though, because I love it.
You know what? AI, it's interesting because it's extremely loud right now, and yet nothing is happening that people didn't anticipate or didn't use for quite a while now. Like when it comes to big data processing, certain variations of AIs have been a crucial part of businesses for the past 20, 30, 40 years, whatever it was. So what really happened in the past years is a simple change. We now can communicate with the AI efficiently. We can talk to it. As the regular human beings, you don't need to write a complex Python code to use AI tools and instruments anymore, right? You can open ChatGPT and you can say, hey, ChatGPT, give me this.
Yep.
And it will reply to you. So this is the biggest change. This drove a lot of progress forward, right? A lot of people started using it. But what it brings now is a lot of questions. Everything from intellectual property rights on large language models, all the way to security issues. Who is using your data? Who is processing your data? Basically, active usage of AI is creating a singular place of failure, right? So you have an LLM that learns everything about every user, is becoming a target. And how much risk does it generate for your business? So people need to start thinking through what they're doing, what they're using. But certainly AI can help, reshaping onboarding and fraud detection, and to a certain point, customer service as well.
It's creating problems just as fast as it's solving them.
Yeah.
Just going
absolutely.
around in circles.
Yeah. Ivan, from a human point of view, how scary is AI? Because being sold to us that it's not going to take over our jobs. And right now, I absolutely agree. It's there to enhance our work. We still need the creativity of the human brain behind a lot of things. But down the path,
I would look at it as a what it was called, the Jacquard loom, right? The Industrial Revolution.
Yep.
So yes, we had people, knitting, doing everything by hand, and then we started having these machines that could process and make carpets and whatnot very, very fast. Can they invent a pattern? No, but they really improve the productivity.
Yeah.
Did all the people who used to work there died somehow? No, they found the new place. Some became workers at the factories using these machines instead of doing manually. Some found new opportunities and started doing something. Some actually remained artisans. And now, 200, 300 years later, artisans actually can make quite good money because now people value artisanship even more than they used to, because everything else is mass manufactured. So when it comes to the AI, it's a similar situation. So will AI take your job, just your abstract job? It might. At some point, it might, absolutely. But even if it won't, somebody who is efficient in using AI as a tool, And that's important. You got to learn to use it. You got to learn to leverage it. But change is scary. Change is always scary. You got to embrace it. You got to have an open mind and just learn new things, learn how to use it efficiently, and hope that no one will give control of nuclear weapons to the AI.
So you're in the US at the moment, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and there's been a lot of conversation recently with, I believe it was included in as part of the big beautiful bill about a block on legislating AI for the next decade. What implications do you think that kind of movement on the legislation front has?
We started our business in Forex and foreign exchange, and it was not regulated as much as it is right now. And when it started, it was quite wild west. It was huge leverage, 1 to 100. You spend $1, you can buy for $100, and then trillions of dollars in volume trading by regular people. Absolute insanity. It was high risk. People were losing money. 88% of people actually, I think, were losing money. Only 12% of people were making it. So the regulators came and started putting in regulations and limits, and everybody were panicking like it's gonna kill our business. It's gonna kill this. It didn't. 25 years later, it's a heavily regulated market, which is now quite successful. And when it comes to AI, like everything else, it needs certain amount of regulations. It needs certain amount of control, maybe even government oversight. But it has to be well thought through. What are we controlling? Why are we controlling? How we're leveraging it? Because a lot of these changes will have long-term consequences. So the government needs to consider that long-term consequences and not just how popular does it sound or how scared people currently are about certain things.
I suppose it creates this interesting space where without that tight regulation, we're going to see how these private companies decide to leverage it for, the monetary gain, which often comes at the cost of consumer well-being.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you were advising say a fintech founder going into your space today, what would you tell them to focus on first?
Understanding their customer, understanding what are they trying to build, why they trying to build it, and get an idea what they're trying to achieve. Because without that, obviously, it's a very obvious answer, I would say, right? But success is about following the basics. It's not about crazy things or insane ideas or anything else. It's actually a lot of grunt work of following the processes and complying with the basics, and then great things will come. If you're ambitious, if you have great ideas, they will come. But you need to focus on the basics and make sure that you have everything in order so you can grow your business. That's on one hand. On the other hand, don't overbuild your product. I would go as far as say, don't build your product until you have a validated idea. Like the simplest way to test the idea is to ask questions.
Yeah.
Go outside, ask people.
Yeah.
Don't spend $2.5 million or $5 million or $10 million of investors' money to build something that no one needs.
Yeah, and end up with a dud product.
Yeah.
We're getting towards the end, but I just want to see if I have found that doing these rapid fire questions, which you've got coming, because I don't tell anyone I'm going to do them.
Sure.
I've had CEOs and founders start to sweat. So do Do you want a drink first?
Okay, let's do this.
You've already done the disclaimer that it's very hot over there today,
Yeah,
so you've
it's
got
very-
you've
it's
got
very
it
hot.
out.
All right. Okay. Are you ready? And then after the rapid fire, we've got 3 questions
Sure.
that I want your input on. Do you want to do the rapid fire, Jazz?
Sure. All right.
Do it.
All right, looking forward to it.
What is one engineering principle that you live by?
It's not an engineering principle, but it applies to engineering very, very heavily. It's those who won't look for opportunities, those who don't look for excuses.
Love it.
What's the most underrated trait in a great software team?
Ability to have an ongoing conflict without burning out. The constructive conflict is necessary for any high performance team.
Absolutely. What's a fintech trend that you think is overhyped?
Fintech trend that's overhyped.
We got
That's
him.
that's a hard one.
Yeah, we
That's
got him.
that's a hard one. I would go the overusage of AI right now. AI is overhyped. It doesn't bring. I think IBM published a study. It brings about 8% return on investment, 2% less than regular capital investments, except for the top deciles. So
Wow.
it's really overhyped right now.
Yep. Interesting. All right. And give us a book, a blog, or a speaker who's really shaped your leadership style.
Leadership style. Okay.
I feel like
reference.
that's cheating.
Yeah.
You think so?
It may be. I don't know. For those that are listening to the podcast and not actually watching, Ivan's just turned around to look for a book in his bookcase.
It's better
I
than
think it's-
ChatGPT, though.
I think he's just looked for any book,
Yeah.
not a particular one. I feel like, quick, is there a book there?
Well, come on. There are plenty of books there. I really can't answer this and give you a single book. I really try to get as much as I can from a lot of different books and use it and
Let's go
see
most
what
recent
works
then.
best. Okay, so maybe the most impactful, I will give you 2.
Mhm.
One was Radical Candor. Another one was Crucial Accountability. Both of them really helped me with, I think, the worst part of any leader in any company. It's holding people accountable when they're not performing. Having these tough conversations. So I would say these 2 books helped me the most in the recent years.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. What year or years ago into your path with Gehtsoft did you find was the turning point in elevating you to the next level? And what was it that happened that just you took off at that point? What was that critical thing that changed where you're like, that's it, that's the one, we've done it?
You know what? When we get there, I'll tell you.
Ah, okay. That's a decent answer. No, I like that. I like that. Okay, second to last question. What is one thing that moves the needle for your business?
I'm sorry, can you repeat this? What is one thing?
That moves the needle for your business? That you could suggest to other leaders and CEOs and founders and startups, one thing that really moved that needle in your business?
Hire good people.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Having a great team, a passionate team, having strong professionals on your team, it really makes a difference.
Okay, I love that. And do you know what? Most people are saying the same thing. It's who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Do you
that
know
makes a
what?
difference.
I want to extend on that though, because
Sure.
how do you know, like you go from the process of just looking over an application. Within that very moment, what are you looking for that distinguishes a good person? Like aside from credentials, is there any sort of marker?
It's interesting because I would say that it's not even credentials. It's very rarely credentials. I would say that the primary thing we look for is language. How does that particular person speak about themselves, right? And even I know that a lot of people right now use ChatGPT or whatever. It still tells you a lot about the person, how they are presented, because whatever they took, the resume, and put into the document, it's something that they agree is good enough to present them as a potential candidate. So second thing, I personally look. It depends on the what role are we hiring for, right? So if I hire a quality assurance specialist, I can assure you that I will never invite for an interview a quality assurance specialist who has typos in his, on their resume. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a quality assurance person if you allow yourself to have that. And and then it's more about the conversation than anything else. So we look through. Obviously, we look through the knowledge. We look through the language. Do we want to meet that person? Are they saying things that we want to hear from the person in that role? It can be simple. Did they write a cover letter? A lot of people right now just send something. So if you actually take the time and write a cover letter,
Yep.
that really sets you apart from 900 other candidates who just clicks like apply, 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 apply,
Yeah.
and some robot sends their resumes. So
So still coming back, I guess, to putting that actual personal touch on
yeah,
their communication.
absolutely, absolutely. And then the next steps are we do heavily rely on testing. So we send out some exercises before, some tests before. We look at the scores. We look how people how much they're proficient at things, and then the conversation. And then actually, still the really decisive period is the first month in the business.
Okay, so to close us out today, what is next for GetSoft and for yourself personally?
So what perspective do you want? Because next week we're gonna be in Denver for Agile 2025. So if somebody is in Denver, stop by a booth.
Perfect.
I'd be happy to meet people. But for GetSoft as a business, obviously, we got to a point. We just went through a rebranding this year. We finally really focused on who we are at the core as a business, and we found a great partner who helped us elevate this into a full-blown brand. I'm really excited to present Agile 2025 as a first place where we're gonna present. It's not our even website is not updated yet, but it will be to reflect all of these changes. And we really want to expand. We want to help more organizations, and I think that our unique experience in high stake situations and a lot in fintech can really benefit a lot of businesses from other industries. So we are looking into the expansion beyond just fintech. We want to help organizations in agriculture, in healthcare, in manufacturing to deal with their high stake situations by bringing all of that knowledge and unique experience from fintech industry and the cutting edge technologies and everything to maybe even more traditional spaces.
Love it. Ivan, thank you very much for joining us on the show. It's been a pleasure. I've actually had a really fun time.
Can we get a sign off in Russian?
Oh, yeah.
Should we?
Yeah. Tell us
Okay.
tell us in Russian how we find you, where we can connect with you and GetSoft, and I will have it in English down the bottom with the hyperlinks as well.
All right. All right. So first of all, Jaimie, Jazz, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me over today. It was a very fun conversation. I appreciate the rapid fire session. But you didn't make it easy the whole hour before, so I don't know. It was like it was building up to that, but I wouldn't call it easy even before that. So so thank you very much. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope it will help your audience to learn something new and apply to their business tomorrow and benefit them. А, Other than that, вы можете нас найти на нашем сайте GetSoftUSA.com или на нашей странице на LinkedIn. Ищите Gehtsoft или найдите меня, Иван Гехт, на LinkedIn. Я буду рад с вами законнектиться. All right, so here's your outro in Russian.
Amazing. I have absolutely no idea what you said, but I heard a .com.
Clear as a whistle to
Yeah.
me.
So do you want me to type everything I said and send you afterwards?
Yeah, maybe. Whatever you said was fantastic. I loved it, and I couldn't agree more.
But let's actually do it. You can find us on our website GetSoftUSA.com or on our LinkedIn page at Gehtsoft, or even me personally, Ivan Ivan Gekht Gekht like Thomas on the LinkedIn. Let's connect. I'm always happy to answer some questions. If somebody hears something that they like and want to learn more, reach out. I'm an open person. I would be happy to help.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ivan. As I said, I'll have all the hyperlinks down the bottom in the captions for people to click straight through and find you. It has been a pleasure. It's been fun. I loved every minute of it.
Thank you, Jazmyn, Jazz. Again, pleasure meeting you today.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Ivan.
Ivan.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
To help support our continued mission to provide free, best-in-class advice from the world's most compelling business leaders, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss an episode. See you on Saturday.
Thanks for tuning into The Business Game. If you like what you've heard, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn to stay connected. A big thank you to our major sponsor, Tala, for powering today's episode. Join us again on the next episode of The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle.